To order the February 3rd, 2021 meeting of the James City County Planning Commission. Mr. Holt, would you call the roll, please?
Ms. Knoll.
Present.
Ms. Knoll represents the Stonehouse District. Mr. Rose.
Present.
Mr. Rose represents the Roberts District. Ms. Leverins.
Here.
Ms. Leverins is an at-large member and is this year's vice chair. Mr. Polster.
Here.
Mr. Polster represents the Jamestown District. Mr. Haldeman.
Present.
Mr. Haldeman represents the Berkeley District. Mr. O'Connor.
Here.
Mr. O'Connor is an at-large member. Mr. Kropp.
Here.
Mr. Kropp represents the Powhatan District and is this year's chair to the Planning Commission. I'm Paul Holt, Director of Community Development and Planning for the county. Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Holt. Before delving into the meeting, everyone did receive the virtual meeting resolution in their packet. And to summarize, on September the 8th, 2020, the board readopted the continuity of government ordinance, which under certain circumstances permits this commission to conduct tonight's meeting by electronic or telephonic means without a quorum of members physically present. May I have a motion for adoption of that resolution for tonight's meeting?
So moved, Barbara.
Thank you, Barbara. Mr. Holt, would you call the roll?
Ms. Knoll.
Aye.
Mr. Rose.
Aye.
Ms. Leverins.
Aye.
Mr. Polster.
Aye.
Mr. Haldeman.
Aye.
Mr. O'Connor.
Aye.
And Mr. Kropp.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Thank you. We now move to the public comment period. This is reserved for topics not subject to a public hearing. I will open the public comment and ask Mr. Holt, have there been any electronic or other comments submitted by the public?
Mr. Chairman, we have not received any for tonight's meeting.
Okay, thank you. In that case, I will close the public comment period and move to reports of the commission. Mr. Haldeman, anything from the Development Review Committee?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the Development Review Committee, pardon me, met on January 20th. The meeting came to order at 3 p.m. with a quorum present. The DRC reviewed Conceptual Plan C-20-0129, Stonehouse Land Bay 5, to determine general consistency with the zoning ordinance requirements, the adopted master plan, adopted proffers, and other applicable county policies. The reason for this conceptual review is found in proffer number 10 of case number Z-19-0010. Mr. Thomas Weissong, senior planner, represented the county. Mr. Baruch, Ms. Pelletier were also present. Mr. William Feltz of Land Tech, Mr. Joe Roque of Lennar, Mr. Wes Dollins of Lennar, and Mr. Mike Etchemendy of SCPJTL represented the applicant. Oops, excuse me. The proposal is for a new construction of 116 single-family detached lots and 64 single-family attached lots for a total of 180 units on Land Bay 5 within the Stonehouse development, which is governed by the approved Stonehouse Master Plan and proffers, case numbers MP 18-0002 and Z-19-0010. The DRC found that the conceptual plan provides sufficient detail pursuant to the language of proffer number 10. Details shown on the plan include the lot layout, proposed unit amount, and site acreage, which allows for density calculations, road and sidewalk locations, amenity areas, trails and pedestrian paths, common and natural open space, proposed clearing and grading, and archaeological or natural resource preservation areas. Staff recommended that the DRC find the proposed conceptual plan to be generally consistent with the zoning ordinance, adopted master plan, adopted proffers, and other applicable county policies, which it did unanimously. The meeting was adjourned at 3:14 p.m.
Thank you, Mr. Haldeman. Any questions for Mr. Haldeman on the DRC report? All right. Mr. Polster, anything from policy?
Yeah, the policy committee met on 4 p.m. on 14 June 2021. The committee members present were Rich Kraft, Tim O'Connor, Rob Rose, and Frank Polster. Staff members present were Christy H. Parrish, Zoning Administrator, Paxton Condon, Community Development Assistant, and Alec Baruch, Acting Principal Planner. Case number ORD-20-0017. Consideration of amendments to the zoning ordinance to consider contractor's office and storage in Planned Unit Development District Commercial. Phase 2. At the November 10, 2020 meeting, the Board of Supervisors adopted an initiating resolution to consider the addition of contractor offices and storage as a use in the Planned Unit Development Commercial District. Before approval of the resolution, the board requests the staff to evaluate the outdoor operation element of the user to ensure minimum visual impacts in the district. Ms. Parrish presented the Phase 2 draft ordinance, Chapter 24, Zoning Amendment, Article 5, Districts Division 14, Planned Unit Development District, PUD, Section 24-493B, Use List, and by adding Section 24497, Performance Standards for Contractor Offices, Shops, and Warehouses in PUDC districts. The Policy Committee approved the amendment and reordained the amending Article 5, District Division 14, Plan Unit Development District, PUD, Section 24493B, Use List, Warehouse in PU District with a vote of 4-0. And Mr. Chairman, that is the subject and topic of our meeting tonight. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Polster. Any questions on the policy committee report? All right. Thank you all. We now move to the consent agenda. Consent agenda items are deemed to be non-controversial. However, a planning commissioner can pull any item for further discussion. There are two items this evening. First is minutes of the January 6, 2021 regular meeting. The second is the Development Review Committee action item C-20-0129, Stonehouse Land Bay 5. Is anyone care to pull one of those items for discussion? If not, may I have a motion for approval?
This is Frank, motion to approve.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, opposed? Okay, thank you. We have one public hearing tonight, ORD-20-0017, consideration of amendments to the zoning ordinance to consider contractors' offices and storage in Planned Unit Development District Commercial. Ms. Parrish, I see you're presenting for staff this evening.
I am. Thank you so much, Mr. Chair and members of the Planning Commission. In addition to Mr. Polster's report, I do have a few things to add, but it was a great report. At its November 10th, 2020 meeting, the Board of Supervisors adopted an initiating resolution to consider the addition of contractors' offices and storage as a use in the Planned Unit Development Commercial, or PUDC district. Prior to the approval of the resolution, the board encouraged staff to evaluate the outdoor operation element of the use to ensure minimal visual impacts in the district. There are currently 3 areas zoned PUDC in James City County. These areas include Stonehouse, Villages at Candle Station, and a portion of Zion Baptist Church located at 6373 Richmond Road. Uses in the PUD district are divided into 2 subcategories: those allowed in residential areas, which is PUDR, and those allowed in commercial areas, which is PUDC. Currently, a contractor's office and storage is not listed as either a permitted or a specially permitted use in the PUD district. PUDC mainly consists of business and light industrial type uses with minimal outside elements. Permitted manufacturing and processing and assembling operations must be conducted fully in an enclosed building with no dust, noise, odor, or other objectionable effect. A contractor's office is not defined in the zoning ordinance. Type of contractors may include, but certainly not limited to, builders, plumbers, electricians, HVAC contractors, mechanical contractors, landscapers, septic and well companies, repair services, contractors, and etc. Common accessory uses associated with contractors' offices may include storage areas for materials and supplies, areas for company vehicles and oversized vehicles, equipment, non-commercial fuel tanks, and so on. At its December 10th, 2020 meeting and the January 14th, 2021 meeting, the Policy Committee discussed adding contractors' offices and storage as a use in the PUDC district. The committee agreed to permit the use by right with the addition of performance standards to address the concerns with the outdoor operation element of the use, such as parking of oversized vehicles and equipment, visual screening, noise, and proximity to residential areas and roadways. The draft performance standards include contractors' offices, shops, and warehouses, uses specified in 24-493B, shall be located in areas designated on a master plan as light industrial and shall meet the following performance standards. A, all materials and equipment shall be stored in a fully enclosed building. B, all operations shall be conducted so that the effect of noise, dust, light, or odor shall not extend beyond the limits of the area designated on the master plan as light industrial. And C, oversized vehicles shall be parked behind a building or fully screened with landscaping from adjacent roadways. Contractors' offices, shops, and warehouse uses that do not meet the above performance standards shall obtain a special use permit from the Board of Supervisors in accordance with 24-9 of the zoning ordinance. At its January 14th, 2021 meeting, the policy reviewed the draft ordinance language and voted 4-0 to move the amendment forward for review by the Planning Commission. Staff recommends Planning Commission recommend approval of the attached ordinance revisions to the Board of Supervisors. I thank you for your time, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have this evening.
Thank you, Ms. Parrish. Any questions for the zoning administrator? All right, seeing none, thank you very much. I will now open the public hearing on this case and ask Mr. Holt if any comments have been submitted or statements from the public for this particular case.
Nothing submitted for tonight's meeting by the public, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. In that case, I will close the public comment period or the public hearing and turn to the Planning Commission for discussion or a motion.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead, Jack.
I move the Planning Commission recommend approval of ORD 200017, consideration of amendments to the zoning ordinance to consider contractors' offices and storage in planned unit development district commercial.
Thank you, Mr. Holt.
Julie, could I just add a little amendment here? I contacted Christine. I think there's a little typo in there that needs to be fixed. So if we could make this as amended.
As
Yes,
amended.
and I'll explain that a little bit. I'm sorry, I should have mentioned that, Ms. Leverance. The 4 was actually left out of the use category. Sorry, I'm flipping over to my other page. Bear with me 1 second. Actually, on the use where it says contractors' offices and warehouse in accordance with, the permitted one had left out the 4 out of the 24-497. I have corrected that, and we'll make sure that that is accurate when it goes to the Board of Supervisors.
Okay, thank you. So, Mr. Haldeman, would you be willing to revise your motion to just say as amended?
As amended.
Great. Thank you, sir. Mr. Holt, would you call the roll, please?
Ms. Null,
I approve. Thank you.
Mr. Rose,
Approved. Yes.
Mr. Polster,
Aye.
Mr. Haldeman,
Aye.
Mr. O'Connor,
Aye.
Ms. Leverance,
Aye.
and Mr. Croft.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is Planning Commission considerations, and we have none for this evening. And that moves us to the Planning Director's report. Mr. Holt.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Good evening again. Other than what's been included in your agenda packets already, I don't have anything additional, but I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Holt? Everyone's getting off easy tonight. All right, thank you, sir.
Making it easy, making it easy.
Next is Planning Commission discussion and request. The only item that I had was, and you all have seen the email traffic on it, that Mr. Polster has Board of Supervisor coverage for February. Does anyone else have any considerations or requests that they'd like to, or discussion items or requests, I should say? All right, thank you all. In that case, may I have a motion to adjourn to the Planning Commission Working Group meeting at 4 p.m. on Monday, February the 8th?
This is Frank, a motion to adjourn, and thank you, Christy.
Yes, indeed, that was very good. Yep.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion to adjourn, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Thank you all very much and have a good evening.